Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some big news. It appears Ukraine could soon be getting the Tomahawk cruise missiles that they have desperately been asking for after some bumps in the roads or roadblocks, whatever you want to call them. It looked like the missiles initially might not come. There would be some delays as President Trump debated what to do. It now appears one of the final hurdles to give Ukraine Tomahawks as the war rages between Russia and Ukraine has been cleared. And that means the devastating and incredibly powerful weapon might soon be added to Ukraine's arsenal so they can unleash hell across targets in Russia. So we're going to break down what has previously been said, what the big new development is, as well as some more attacks that have unfolded in Russia carried out by Ukraine. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. Do you want to see Ukraine get Tomahawk missiles? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out at any point in time. If you got a good tip, let me know. If you just want to say hello, that's great too. I love talking with you all. Best people on YouTube are watching this. Now, let's get into it. There has been a long debate for about 2 months or so about whether or not the United States of America is going to send Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. Why is this incredibly important for Ukraine? Well, the Tomahawk has a range of about 1,500 miles. That puts all of Western Russia within striking distance. It puts all their military bases, a lot of their ports. Obviously, they can strike into Crimea. They already have the means to do that, but this would be a lot more powerful, as well as they could hit the Kremlin. It would just be a devastating weapon for Ukraine to get, and Russia does not want them to get it. They are panicking. Putin is panicking. The last thing they want is Tomahawk missiles. So Trump has been thinking about it. He had a meeting with Zelensky in October at the White House. There was an idea that they might get Tomahawks then. They did not. Instead, they got a bunch of Patriot batteries, surface-to-air missile batteries, air defense system, things like that. And so for those of you who haven't seen Trump talk about this in the past, these are some comments from roughly middle of October where Trump is talking about sending Tomahawks. Let's go ahead and watch what he had to say.
This morning and yesterday. And he basically would like to, as you know, we are not sending any weapons. We're sending them to NATO, and NATO is paying, which is a big difference between Biden and Trump. Because Biden gave them $350 billion, and we didn't. We gave them nothing. But we gave them respect and some other things, frankly. So we talked about weapons, and the weapons are sent to NATO, and NATO then sends us a check. They pay for info, and they would need more weapons, and we're looking into doing that. We hope we're going to be able to provide them. You know, our country needs weapons, too. We can't give so many weapons that we don't have weapons. You never know what's going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen? But NATO pays us 100% for the weapons, and then they send them into Ukraine. And we talked about the weapons they need, what kind of weapons. They need Patriots very badly. They'd like to have Tomahawks. That's a step up. They'd like to have Tomahawks. We talked about that. And so we'll see. Well, I don't know.
He was just asked.
I might have to speak to Russia, to be honest with you, about Tomahawks. Do they want to have Tomahawks going in their direction? I don't think so. I think I might speak to Russia about that, in all fairness. I told that to President Zelensky, because Tomahawks are a new step of aggression. Right? You understand that very well.
Are you saying that you will speak to Putin first about Tomahawks?
I might talk to him. I might say, look, if this war's not going to get settled, I'm going to send them Tomahawks. I may say that. The Tomahawk is an incredible weapon, very offensive weapon. And honestly, Russia does not need that. They don't need that. Yeah, I might tell them that if the war is not settled, that we may very well do it. We may not, but we may do it. I think it's appropriate to bring up. Yeah.
So there's President Trump a few weeks back, talking about how he might have to tell Putin, hey, listen, if you don't want to negotiate, we're just going to send the Tomahawks to Ukraine, and whatever pain and carnage and damage they inflict, that's your own problem because you didn't want to negotiate. So this is a report from CNN And I know a lot of you guys don't like CNN, but this is just a straightforward news report. So it's important to note here that diplomacy, as we know, has failed. Diplomacy is over as we know it. The Russians do not want to negotiate, so Trump is taking a different approach, which is let's arm the Ukrainians and see what happens. It says Pentagon cleared giving Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles, leaving final decision to Trump. It says the Pentagon has given the White House the green light to provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles after assessing that it would not negatively impact U.S. stockpiles, leaving the final political decision in President Donald Trump's hand, according to 3 U.S. and European officials familiar with the matter. Trump said earlier this month during a working lunch with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House that he would rather not provide the missiles to Ukraine because we don't want to be giving away things that we need to protect our country. So now the Pentagon is saying, hey, we've got the stockpiles. We're good. We can spare X amount of missiles. It won't impact us at all. Give them to the Ukrainians. The Joint Staff informed the White House of its assessment earlier this month, just before Trump met with Zelensky, who's been pushing for the missiles to more effectively target oil and energy facilities deep inside Russia. Tomahawks have a range of around 1,000 miles. The assessment buoyed the U.S. European allies who believe that the U.S. now has fewer excuses to not provide the missiles, 2 European officials said. Trump also said just days before meeting Zelensky that the U.S. has a lot of Tomahawks that it could potentially give Ukraine. U.S. and European officials were surprised, therefore, when Trump dramatically changed his tune days later, saying during open remarks at the White House working lunch with Zelensky that the U.S. needs the Tomahawks. He then told Zelensky behind closed doors the U.S. would not be providing them, at least not as of yet. So now it appears, pull this off the screen, now it appears the calculus has changed in the United States. The military has signed off on it. The military is saying, yes, they have to look at the supplies. They have to look to see how many Tomahawks they have. They have to look to see how many can we spare. It's a review process. And then that information goes to Trump. And then Trump, the president, is going to say, okay, we can spare X amount. That's the Pentagon's recommendation. That's Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's recommendation. So that's what we're going to do. And at this point, I would be shocked if he does not give him the cruise missiles, because Trump is livid with Putin. He is beyond livid with Putin. They tried to negotiate. We tried diplomacy. We tried to make a deal. Putin then came in, lied to our faces, played a game with us, refused to actually negotiate in good faith, continues to carry out strikes in Ukraine, killing a lot of civilians. And now Trump is saying, you know what? We're going to try it a different way. And that is, we are going to escalate this thing to inflict pain on Russia in order to get them to the negotiating table. That's why you've seen these strikes be carried out deep inside Russia. That's why you've seen these strikes target deep in Russia on energy infrastructure, on oil infrastructure. The days of negotiating are over. And Trump now wants to inflict pain on Putin. And cruise missiles are going to get that done. And now that the Pentagon has signed off on it, saying, yeah, let's do this. Here's how many we can give them. I think you're fully going to see the missiles be supplied to Ukraine. It would be surprising at this point if they weren't. Speaking of pain on Russia, this is coming to you. It says, overnight, Ukrainian drones conducted a strike on Russian energy infrastructure, successfully hitting the Oriol power plant and a major substation in Vladimirskaya. Seen here, a Ukrainian drone slammed into the Oriol power plant. So let's watch this. So you can see the fireball right there. Massive fireball. Let's watch it again. Boom. One more time for good measure. And then right here, this is more footage, aftermath of the strike. So check it out. You can see the station, the energy station, on fire, engulfed in flames, as Ukraine continues to carry out strike after strike on Russian territory. So let me pull this off the screen now. So as you can see, Ukraine continues to strike deep into Russia. Russia continues to unleash on Ukraine. Russia is violating NATO airspace at this point on a regular basis. They are carrying out secret spy missions, causing NATO to scramble fighter jets. Polish fighter jets had to chase down 2 different Russian spy planes over the Baltic Seas. Over the past few days, you saw them scramble fighter jets after a mass attack sparked a huge NATO response, a massive attack in Western Ukraine. And now the Pentagon is saying, hey, you know what? Give them the Tomahawks, give them the missiles. Let's get ready to rock and roll. If Putin doesn't want to negotiate, we will try plan B. That is Trump's clear and stated goal. He gave Putin a chance to negotiate. Putin didn't want to do it. So now here we are trying a very different strategy. And I fully believe that Trump is going to give the Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, and you will see a level of devastation the Russians didn't even know was possible in this war. And it could change the dynamics on the battlefield to force the Russians back to the negotiating table. That's my prediction. We will see what happens, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think will happen if Tomahawk missiles are sent to Ukraine? What will it do to the Russians? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D_Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. DMs are wide open. Reach out with any tips or anything you have, or to just say hello. I'll see you all next time.